What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett.
I'm Lance.
This is Rants R Us.
As always, please remember to, if you like the content, to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, and share our content.
Okay, today we're going to be talking about what to expect from Season 2 of the Umbrella Academy. What are you most looking forward to?
All of it, but I mean, there's a lot of questions I hope gets answered, right?
See, and I'll admit, I wasn't a huge fan of the Umbrella Academy first few episodes.
No.
And then towards the end, I
was hooked as soon as the chick jumped into the pool and popped up giving birth. I was like, whoa, what is going on
here?
here?
I'll admit, it had some tantalizing things that kept me going.
I was hooked immediately. And as soon as I finished the first episode, it was, I gotta watch the next one. I finished all 10 of those episodes in like a day. Maybe a day.
I almost did too. I think it took me 2 days.
Wasn't quite 2 days. I think it was like, I watched it all night.
Yeah.
And then I got up that morning at like 9, I was finished by noon. Yeah. So it was, I'd say a day and a half.
You know, but when it comes to it, you know, probably the one thing that I will say, there is characters in it that I don't really like. I don't really like that Pogo.
I like Pogo.
I don't really like him.
I was kind of upset when Vanya killed him.
I always kind of feel like he had something that was kind of ominous about him. I don't know. I kind of thought
he was definitely always like hiding something, but he was doing that to protect his master. Yeah, like, I get it.
And see, to me, I just kind of felt like, you know, when it come to him, like most of the season, I thought he was up to something, and I didn't actually.
There was times where I thought that maybe Sir Reginald Hargraves was Pogo.
Yeah,
like he just like
transferred his mind
into his body or something to see how they would react and come back together as their team if they thought he was dead, is what I thought. But
well, in season, I mean, you know, when you take a guy like that Reginald Hargraves,
you never know.
It wouldn't be shocking.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, you never know.
Like, you know, he's kind of got this mindset of I don't know if you're like a big fan of it, but like Naruto, there's a guy called Orochimaru, and he's like this guy. He's like this mad scientist like guy that he is. Like he just doesn't care about people. It's not that he's like vindictive. It's just he's like curious how they work. I kind of always felt like that Reginald Hargraves was.
He's more scientist than he has compassion. And
he doesn't really understand the compassion.
Sir Reginald Hargraves definitely did not know how to raise children.
No, definitely.
I don't think he just didn't care about them. I think that a lot of times it seemed to me like in season 1 when they would do their little flashbacks with him, it seemed like he was just so wrapped up in discovering what they can do and how to use them to save the world rather than take the time to, I don't know, go play catch with your kid so he doesn't time jump and cause the end of the world.
Well, see, that was actually my biggest question through season 1 was he trying to build them up to be a superhero team to stop the end of the world, or was he doing it just to big popularity?
You know, now if you see the trailer for season 2, it looks
makes you wonder.
It looks like they went and told him about it,
and
so then he went and got them from their moms or their parents and started building them to stop this from happening.
I'm actually interested.
But then if you look at it, like, you know, you watched season 1, hopefully the viewers did too. If you look at it, if he had never went and got them, would they have still ended the world? Probably not.
No, probably not. So actually,
going back and warning them about this, maybe he just doesn't go and adopt them. Maybe he's the cause of this.
But see, overall, I think there was 36 children, if I'm not mistaken.
There's 36 other than them.
Oh, other than them. Okay. Well,
because at the beginning it's like on such and such date, 40-something children were born. What made it
so to me, it kind of brings
mysterious was none of them had been pregnant at the beginning of the day. Blah blah.
So to me, it kind of makes me wonder: is, you know, are they going to come back at one time or another? Are they going to come back as like super villains?
I hope they come back as something. Either way, whether they come back and they're kind of doing their own hero thing, and some of them have.
Well, we kind of saw that
got brought up a different way, so now they're the villains.
Well, we kind of saw that a little bit with Leonard. You know, except he didn't have powers.
Yeah, Leonard wasn't included in those numbers.
I know he wasn't included.
Just pregnant.
But I mean, we kind of saw a little something. That was
what could possibly happen if some of these children weren't brought up to be heroes? If they've been put into, like, say they get put into foster care or something, and they've become malicious because of the life they were put in, and so they become villains instead.
I mean, it's kind of
that would be an interesting kind of plot twist.
It's kind of almost kind of like, you know, in the Flash, you know, where, you know, there was that explosion, and then all these people become metahumans, and some people were in bad situations, and some people were in good situations, and depending upon the situation they were, was actually what caused them to either be a villain or hero.
Somewhat.
You know, with that.
Somewhat,
I mean, majority.
Because there was like this couple who climbed up the pole to watch it turn on, and they ended up getting fried, and they became villains. In reality, they weren't in a bad situation; they were just in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
You can actually.
Why would you be a villain? Yeah. You know, if you died high, you probably gonna come back. I'm just chilling. Look what I can do.
but see, that's the thing too. You know, when it comes to, I mean, we could debate all day whether Flash is maybe the actual villain of the series.
I hate Flash. I hate the Flash.
I love the Flash, but there's certain things. Again. Yeah. We always have to go to the Flash or something like that during the video. But either way, but what I was trying to say is, you know, it was the circumstances that created these people. So could it be them not being adopted out? You know, you don't know what kind of situation they were in. They come back as villains. They kind of be pissed because they didn't get it.
Their parents freak out about what happened to them and just like.
You know, you gotta expect with some of these powers, a lot of these kids are probably in prison, probably by accident,
or just like I said,
not realizing their powers,
like in the system forever, and nobody wants them because they have these weird things about them. Maybe they don't realize it's powers, but they know there's something not right with them.
Well, it's like with Vanya. Vanya didn't even know that.
That's because he had her on that pill to control it because she was killing housekeepers.
Yeah,
stuff.
Like I mean. She was, you know, it's kind of funny. She actually turned out to be, you know, she always thought she was nothing, and then she actually turned out to be probably the most powerful of all of them. Or the most powerful.
That's debatable because I feel like even Allison, even though her power is kind of stupid, she's kind of pretty powerful because all she has to do is tell you she heard a rumor that you killed yourself, and you're going to do it.
I kind of feel like Allison, though, I mean, could be.
I'm sorry, it's hot.
Allison could actually turn out to be a villain.
She could.
It wouldn't actually shock me if she actually did.
Any of them really, I could see going the other way.
Yeah, I could too.
Right circumstances.
You know what? Even Luther to a certain extent.
I feel like if he keeps finding out that all these missions his dad was sending him to do was just bullcrap for him to get rid of it, he might be like, you know what? Why do I want to do it?
Okay, that ties into something. That's one of my biggest questions for season 2. Why did his dad Hargreaves send him to the moon?
Like, that was season 1. They kind of mentioned. I remember. They kind of mentioned that when Luther had his little accident or whatever, because he was going and doing the superhero thing on his own, and they had to give him that injection of whatever it was. Yeah. He came back as this like gorilla monster, so his dad sent him up there to spare him embarrassment. Not the dad,
but does that really sound like Hargreaves almost? Like, does it sound like original Hargreaves? Probably not.
It might, because Luther was always his number one. That was his favorite.
True, I will give him that. So, but at the end of the day, I think there's going to be something more.
There's probably going to be something more to it. They're going to keep you hanging on.
And why at the end of season 1 did they turn into children when they were going back in time?
See, that's a question I've talked to you about many times. I don't understand that because, like, at the end, he's time traveling them all, and they turn back into their kid selves. And then in the trailer, they're adults. So I don't know if, like, when they first show up there, if they're all kids. Yeah. And then he has to find them, and they've aged again. How long it's taken him to find them since they got separated? I don't know. That's a good question.
I've kind of wondered on that one, too. There's a lot of little things like that guy. What is his name? My mind's going blank. The guy that was with the donut lady. Hazel. Why is Hazel old? Season 2.
Yeah, I don't know that either because they made a comment that it was 1963, so why is he older now?
He should be younger.
In 2019.
I mean, exactly where does he fit in the time range to me?
But yeah, that's the thing. If he's part of the commission, they live outside of time and space. Maybe he don't age like we do. Maybe it's backwards. Maybe it's like the Benjamin Button thing.
It could very well be. You know what? It actually probably, you know what? I won't say probably, but it could actually.
And
be
no, he was born as an old man and slowly aged backwards.
And also, another thing is how did they not meet their regular selves? Like that's what I don't really understand.
See,
I thought that was going to be kind of like a thing. Like you see that again. That's why I actually see that all the time.
or like Back to the Future.
Yeah,
you don't
want to mess with time.
You don't mess with the space-time continuum. You don't jack with crap because then stuff like this happens.
Yeah, so I mean, eventually it seems like that they're gonna. Well, I say they go back and meet their younger selves, but they're not gonna. They weren't.
They go back and meet the younger Sir Reginald Hargraves.
Yeah,
they showed that in the trailer.
Yeah. So I mean, I could see that.
And what exactly are we gonna find out? What exactly he injected Luther with at that point? Is it like Coco's blood?
I would say no on that one.
Because it kind of turned into a gorilla? Was it Compound V like on The Boys?
Yeah. I would say no on that one. Because,
you don't think we'll ever find out?
Well, I don't think we'll find out in season 2, and I'll tell you the reason why we won't find out is because, they were born in, 1989? So, this is in 1960, so you probably won't. And what is up with...
Unless they come back at some point, you know, to try to stop it or whatever.
And what kind of cult is Klaus a part of?
Klaus would be the one that had
Klaus
a cult.
Would be. That actually doesn't really shock me, and I'm actually really excited about that.
It shocked me at all.
I love Klaus.
I love when he's like, in the trailer, he's like, well, we have until Monday. He's like, man, my cult's going to be so pissed. I said we had until 2019.
And will that change, his love interest? That guy that was in season 1.
I wonder if they're going to go back to when he was in, what was he, in Vietnam?
Yeah.
And I wonder if he's going to try to go back to that time to find him because
he's
the love of his life.
Well, they're in the 60s, so it's been around in that time.
Right.
So is that going to completely change him ever meeting
Did that ever even happen? Because now he's not
even
even going to Vietnam.
Yeah. So because he's a big shot. He's a cult leader.
He's sending his little minions over there.
Yeah, I can't imagine that you go from cult leader to private. Normally.
And I still have questions on how they're going to spin everything with Vanya because towards the end of season 1, she was off the deep end.
And what will Vanya and Allison's relationship actually be?
Is that going to be the same? Is the love still going to be there?
I would, yeah. Because, you don't know.
I want to say no, but then at the end of season 1, after she done tried to cut her throat, she's like, hey, it's not her fault. It was my fault. I was telling her bad news. Okay, that don't mean slit your throat.
Yeah, I know. But see, at the end of the day, when it comes to it, she did blow up the moon. I feel like...
Allison blew up the moon, though.
Allison did. But then Vanya was kind of going crazy on that. I kind of feel like I don't want them to whitewash that either. I want them to kind of address it.
At least be like, hey, chick, you need to.
Yeah,
what happened? Yeah. Or does she not even remember it? Do any of them remember it?
And do they? And if she?
Because now they're in the 60s, it never happened.
And if they do remember it, but she doesn't, for some reason, do they tell her? See, that's another thing.
See, that's the thing. If she doesn't remember it, but they do, and they don't tell her, that's not going to prevent it from happening. Maybe if they tell her, or maybe if they use this time to actually treat her like their sister instead of like the odd man out, maybe that never happens.
Well, it could very well be, but it could be a way that maybe telling Hargreaves, to do some things differently.
Maybe they're going to tell Hargreaves, she got some powers. You need to put in the work and make sure she can control this, because if you don't, this is why the world ends. Because you didn't teach her how to control it.
But then at the same time, what if Hargreaves goes back and, be like, well, if y'all are the reason why that the end of the world comes about, then I'm not even going to get y'all. I'll kill you. Or I'll kill you.
Then there's no show.
Well, what if he's like the villain in season 3? What if he's like the villain in season 3 that tries
he's time traveling?
That is trying to.
Maybe that's why he sent Luther to the moon.
Yeah. And another thing, and it could very well be, and another thing is what's up with the fish guy?
I don't know
and
what
the milk
about. Is that like taking over the handler's boss? Or is that taking over like Cha-Cha? Or?
Yeah, is that like part of that? Well, what about Cha-Cha?
She died, right?
Did she?
She was in the car, she didn't buckle up, and he hit the barricade, and she flew through the windshield and broke in 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That was then. But because in the timeline, she's going to be.
But I'm saying, if they are outside time and space, if you die in any era, you die, right?
Depends upon the show. Because, in some time travel
shows, like in Inception, if you die in someone's dream, you die in real life.
Yeah. Well, it could very well be, Freddy Krueger. There you go. But, just connections we make. Inception, Freddy Krueger. Same thing.
I was trying to get sleepy last night, and I saw kind of something like that on an episode of Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, I actually did see that episode. But but either way,
I'm not a big Rick and Morty fan, but I was trying to get tired.
But there is, that's a good way to fall asleep.
I was trying, it didn't work.
But
I watched like 5 episodes.
Yeah, I know. But either way, there's a lot of questions like that. And another thing, my biggest question too would be, what is up with the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy?
John F. Kennedy.
Robert Kennedy. Yeah, Robert Kennedy. Yeah, what's with the assassination of John F. Kennedy?
That has
why does that have something to do with
implications on what happens to the end of the world? Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's not their fault. Maybe it's all Five's fault for not assassinating.
And I almost kind of feel like
That's a question I've had. I know it's a minute question that probably nobody really cares about. If Five walked away from that job and didn't assassinate Kennedy, who did?
That's a good question. Probably another commission member.
Yeah,
I would say. But I kind of feel like
maybe it was like Hazel.
Or what if in their timeline he didn't?
And
John F. Kennedy wasn't.
Kennedy
so I mean that could very well be it. But see, that's the thing. Or the commissioner, could they actually, instead of being the main villains, could they actually be the good guys? Because it was Five that left that part of killing.
That's a good
John
question too. We talked about that in the Vanya video too. Is they tell him, you're gonna learn we're not as bad as you think we are.
Yeah.
So were they really protecting? See, they said protect Leonard at all costs. Well, then Vanya killed him and the world ended. So maybe they were trying to protect him to prevent it, not to cause it.
Well, see, they didn't.
Maybe they twisted that. Five twisted that and interpreted it wrong. Because it was all Five doing this little experiment or investigation, trying to figure out what was going on. And he come back and was like, "Oh, we gotta kill this guy because they're trying to protect him, which means that they want to end the world."
Yeah.
Well, then he dies and the world still ended, so I didn't understand how that played a part at all.
Well, see, I kind of feel like, when it comes to number 5, I kind of felt like, why did they even...
to a 12-year-old?
Well, yeah, that. But why did they pick him, specifically him, if it wasn't to somehow change the... to stop the events that had happened.
A lot of questions.
I mean, there's a lot of things. They could have picked anybody in the world. Why him?
I hope they get answered in season 2. I expect big things out of season 2. And I'm going to find out tomorrow.
And I'm looking forward to it. And that's another thing. We're also going to do episode videos of season 2 of Umbrella Academy. So look forward to those. And as always, guys, if you have any other requests, please let us know.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. And click the notification bell so you can stay up to date when we drop a new video. See you guys next time.
Right there. All right, am I there? Boom, there. Right there.
Somewhere
there.
Right
there. All right. Take care, guys.